What's going on, people? Welcome back to AFTV. You've joined us for the preview of Arsenal versus Newcastle. A 4:30 p.m. kickoff in the UK, but a 6:30 p.m. kickoff here in Nairobi, Kenya. We're currently at the Messiah Market. And Rob, listen, if Arsenal didn't score 2 goals the other day to make it 2-2 against Liverpool, it'd have been a sour trip. But this Sunday, we take on Newcastle, and I have no worries. Or as I would say here, Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
And we're going to get straight into it. Let's do it.
And the reason why we're doing it right here on this spot, my man over here,
Arsenal fan.
Big Arsenal fan. Big up yourself. He said he loves Saka. Come here. Right? Your favourite player is?
Saka.
Yeah, all right, Saka. Right. And also, right, you give me a good discount off the painting as well, right? So we've got to look after it, right? So
some beautiful art.
Man. Thank you.
Some beautiful art that we've seen across this market, and loads of nice, little monuments and stuff to take back.
Yep.
I've got some little bits. It's good, but we're gonna go straight to it, Rob. It's
last
Sunday.
home game of the season.
I had that.
I was about to say that.
You're good at what you do. You should do something in this space.
I'll try, man.
But yeah, like you just mentioned, our last home game of the season. But if we look at the record against Newcastle, we haven't won all season. 3 times we've played them. Not even that we haven't won. We haven't scored against them.
Yeah.
Which is
I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
Right.
2-0 both legs in the League Cup. 1-0 we lost them, which I actually thought was last season, but it wasn't. It's that cross into the box when I argued with Julian and said that the cross wasn't a good cross. It was an amazing cross, and the header from Isak.
Yeah.
Newcastle are on our tails. They win this game. They go ahead of us. Where are you at? Because I know you've spoken about the home form. Actually, normally you before in the past you said it's at home. We're fine. But I think you've had a bit of a change recently to say that home form hasn't actually been that great, and we're playing them at home. Final game of the season. What are you expecting? Because it needs to be a win, really. Yeah.
Home form hasn't been good enough. It's what's cost us this season in the league, and one of the things that have cost us. And like you said, we're coming up against a team that they're going to be very confident. They've got a lot to play for. So have we, by the way. I think this is really interesting that this game has come. We would have wanted it to be some sort of title decider or something, but it's actually the battle for second place, isn't it? Yeah. If they beat us, they're in the driving seat for second place. If we win the game, more or less, we've secured that second place. We've definitely secured top 4. So it's an important game for Arsenal. And like you said, we're coming up against a team that we haven't beaten them in the last 3 games. And let me just say, we didn't really lay a glove on them in any of those 3 games, which have not been good enough. You know what I mean? Yeah. Isak has been the guy that we would love to see at Arsenal. And Anthony Gordon, those 2, Bruno Guimaraes, those 3 players have kind of got the better of us. Guimaraes in the midfield, and those 2 up front. So we're going to have to put in a very, very good performance against a very, very good side. I think after us, the next best team in the division.
Well, like you just mentioned there, it's our last home game. We need to win. They're going to be fired up for it. I was just looking at the table here.
So much to play for.
Yeah, we're second on 68 points. Newcastle on 66 points in third. Man City are on 65 points in 4th.
Yep.
Chelsea are on 63 points in 5th, and Aston Villa are on 63 points as well in 6th. So listen, we probably, if we win, obviously we guarantee top 4, but there's a lot of close teams that are still kind of trying to fight to try and...
You don't want to end up going to the last game, even though the last game's against Southampton. You don't want to end up going to that game. Southampton got a draw against City the other day, and that would be highly embarrassing if we didn't make the top 4. And it kind of be, even though to me I don't really care if it's second, third, whatever, but it would be a bit embarrassing if we didn't even get second place. You know what I mean? You're hearing the really Tottenham fans saying, third in a 2-horse race and all things like that, like what we used to say to them.
Ridiculous.
So I want to see Arsenal go out there and put in a big performance. Also, it's the last home game of the season. You know what I mean? At the end of the game, the players do a lap of honour, thanking the fans and stuff like that.
Will there be boos if we lose?
There's never going to be boos, but I want them to do that on a high. If we
lose, do you think there'll be boos in the crowd?
No, I think if we lost the game, it wouldn't be boos, but I think there'd be a lot of people who wouldn't wait to do any lap of honour. They just go home, which would also be embarrassing. Go out with a win, you know what I mean? And then let the season finish, let the post-mortems begin and all that sort of stuff. It hasn't been good enough this season, but go out with a win against Newcastle. And it's not going to be easy because they're a very, very good side.
Very good side. And you led me to that question there about when I said, is there going to be boos? Like, the mood right now as an Arsenal fan, as the season ends, we haven't won in our last 5 games in all competitions, which is for Arsenal, considering we've been up there a second for the majority of the season. Doesn't really bode well coming towards the end of it. It feels like everyone's hopes on the Champions League. I understand that, but we've just petered out badly, and if we lose on Sunday, or even if we, do you know what? Even a draw is not a bad result, but are we asking too much if we're saying we have to win? Are we asking because Newcastle have been a good side?
You want to see a win. You're at home. We're at home against Newcastle. You want to see a win.
Final game of the season.
Right, it's the final game of the season. And I think they're right. Listen, there are reasons why in the league form in the last few games has been as what it has, because, you know, we were chasing the Champions League. It was all on that. We were resting loads of players. All right, that's all gone now. So whatever the strongest team that's available, and we keep hearing this person's available, that one's slightly injured, this one, whatever the strongest team is, put that team out there and go and do this last one for the fans. Yes, to get into ensure that we got top 4, ensure second place, but also do it for the fans. You know what I mean? And fans have had to suffer a lot this season, you know what I mean, seen poor performances in cases, suffer the fact that we haven't been able to win the league, but we suffer together. We suffer together. The team suffered, we've suffered, they've had a lot of injuries. Let's get a win the last 2 games, and then go away at the end of this season now then the pressure is on. What is Arsenal going to do in the transfer window? Are they going to bring a striker in? You know what I mean? Are they going to bring in attacking players? All that, but first of all, before any of that's in any discussions, go and win that last game of the season, home game of the season against Newcastle, and it's not going to be easy.
It's a strong message, especially to the players as well, that they need to, they can't just give up now. The fans are expecting you to get it over the line when it comes to getting second place and finishing strongly. And I've got a few questions before we get to your score predictions, so I'm very intrigued about it, because I feel like we're at a bit of a back foot, but I'll explain that in a second. Matty Renton, I feel like I've seen him so much.
I forgot about him as well. I said we've got to win it, because I don't want it. Did you see him all the other day propping up on Best of Enemies?
Yep. So that's another thing. Like, I think he'll be saying, because I've spoken to him throughout the season, because funny enough, it's been annoying, but he'll be saying, well, our trajectory now, we're back in the Champions League, you're not getting Isak, and Newcastle, to be fair to them, maybe I haven't watched them so much over the season, but I know when they played us, they've been a big issue to us. They've been a really complete side. So I think even going into next season, do you think, again, they're going to be competing with us? Do you think they'll still be up there because they've got Champions League? Really? Because remember they were in Champions League before, they dipped because of Champions League, but do you think that's going to be a hindrance?
I think they're going to be one of the teams competing next season, because, you know, they've already got a very good side and they're going to strengthen. And they've had injury problems this season with players like Sven Botman and stuff like that. They're a very, very good side. They've impressed me a lot this season. You know what I mean? They won the Carabao Cup. You know what I mean? They've had a strong end to the season. And as I said, they'll keep Isak. I think they'll keep Gordon. They'll keep Bruno Guimaraes. You know what I mean? And if they build upon that, Tonali's another very good player. And they've got some good young players as well. I think the future is really bright for them.
Yeah, Murphy's there,
this is just stating to Arsenal the sort of competition that is coming up next season and that we're going to face. So, you know, go and get a win, because
Eddie Howe's had our number for
Eddie Howe's had our number.
Actually.
You don't want to go into the next season with them having our number as well, but they are going to improve and they'll have Champions League football. I'm convinced they're going to get into the Champions League. So they ain't going to have to sell players and they're going to be able to have money to strengthen. So very, very important that Arsenal, you know, let's just put a marker down and say, all right, you guys have had a good season against us, but slow down a bit.
I get it.
Slow down a bit.
But they have had a fair play. They picked up the trophy, that League Cup. I'll be honest, I'm quite annoyed we didn't end up getting that. So they've had a good season.
Deserve to do it as well. Beat us. Beat Liverpool as well. They're no
fair play to the Geordies, man. Right, let's get to this, Rob, because going from one player that, I mean, we've been in Kenya, everyone, Isak. But going from one striker to one that we're without on the weekend. Remember, Mikel Merino got red carded. So he's suspended for this game. So, I mean, that's a bit of a concern.
At the time of this video, it could be no Trossard as well. Remember, he had that injury. So
I mean, you're saying we need to win, but I mean,
Martinelli up front. Martinelli moved up front in that Liverpool game. He done all right. He scored a goal.
That's fair.
And I've for a long time thought to myself, why not try Martinelli up front more?
We might see Ephraim return then. Actually, wow, that might be a positive.
I'd like to see Martinelli up front. If there's injuries to those players, obviously no Marino, very unlucky to be missing out on that game. I'd like to see Martinelli down the middle.
Yeah, it's a shame he's not going to be available, Mikel Merino, to get his. I mean, he'll be in the stadium, but obviously
Yeah,
he won't get a really nice, his final game at home.
And let's just say, that was a good comeback by Arsenal last week. It was a dreadful first half, and I know Arteta was very critical, and rightly so. But it was a good comeback, good fight back by the team. We were here, obviously we had the watch party. It was absolutely incredible. If you ain't watched that yet, you must watch that. You must watch that watch party that we did over in Kenya. It was unbelievable. But let's now, good comeback last week, but it's still a draw. Let's get a victory at the home before the end of the season.
Let me close then by getting your score prediction, but before I do that, let me read the stats. I think just some stats I picked out, only two. We've got one here that it says, okay, Arsenal have only lost their final home league game in one of the last 27 seasons.
Wow.
So we've won 22 and drawn 4, going down 2-1 against Aston Villa in 2010 and 2011. So I'm going to leave with that one actually. I think that's a strong one because that's giving me a bit of positivity to say we can win. I've told you all about, the players that potentially at this time recording that I'm missing that I'm a bit concerned about. But for you, Robbie, Newcastle, their final away game of the season, our final home game, where are you going? What are you going to predict?
Going with an Arsenal win. I'm going to go with an Arsenal 2-1 win. I think, what you're going to see is a lot more intensity than what we've seen in some of the recent home games. There's a lot on this. There's stuff on this game, which really and truly, if we're being real, the last few home games, there ain't really been nothing on it apart from keeping yourself out of trouble because you've got a Champions League game. This is different. There's stuff on it. Get that second place. Don't let them go past us. So 2-1 Arsenal.
2-1. I'm going to head or heart, Cecil. Maybe heart. 1-0 Arsenal. It's going to be, maybe the two teams might counteract themselves because it's such a big game. They're all trying to kick a secure second spot. 1-0 Arsenal, I've got to believe it. I mean, the chips are down a little bit. I mean, we just drew against Liverpool. Is that really how we feel? That's how I feel a little bit. Because it's Newcastle, they've got our number this season. But let's hope we get the win, the first win of this season against them. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And before we end this video, I want to give a big thank you to Kenya Airways. They are launching a new route from Gatwick direct to Nairobi, Kenya, which means, yes, we can fly straight from my airport, Gatwick Airport. We flew from Heathrow, and those flights will still be happening directly every day. But from the 3rd of July 2025, they'll be flying directly from Gatwick to Nairobi, Kenya. And also, for all the other flights, you can get an exclusive discount courtesy of us, a 15% discount. All you got to do is type in AFTV in the checkout, and you get that code, get that discount from us to you. Thank you always, Kenya Airways. It's been amazing. Thank you to all of you that have helped us.
It's been an amazing trip. I want to thank all the people of this country as well in Kenya. We've really enjoyed our time here. We're definitely going to be coming back. The support for the Premier League here is unbelievable, but the support for Arsenal is off the chart. Off the chart. You have to come here. And not only that, it's a great country. Absolutely great country. And we ain't even explored half of it yet. That's why we're coming back. Right, so big up to everybody from Kenya. And yeah, it's been an amazing trip, And
yes, it's been amazing.
What can I say?
It's now time to hippo. So see you later.
We want to come back. We apologise to everybody in Kenya for his dreadful jokes. That is, throughout the whole trip. Right? You're lucky there's not a spear around here or something to spear him, you know what I mean? But we're out. We've enjoyed it.